Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. With the OpTic Dallas question still looming in the air, Clayster has a very interesting perspective on the Scump versus Simp debate, which may well continue into the future as in terms of who is the best SMG player of all time and why exactly some people are maybe discounting Simp's performances over the last couple of years. Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below. Like if you guys enjoyed the video, subscribe if you are new as always, I would greatly appreciate it. Really up to the channel, thank you very much indeed for doing that. First of all, this is Gunless and I'll point out right here. So yesterday, we kind of discussed that it's possible to disable some of the destructible walls. Players the likes of Clayster were pretty happy that this was a possibility. This is what some of the maps look like without it. It's kind of strange in the sense that yes, the walls have been destroyed, but apparently these things at the end here are windows, and okay, these things on the outside, like these walls are all gone, so I guess that's a positive thing. It's just kind of like all the stuff that's destructible on these maps is kind of frustrating to think about, but yeah, a lot of the stuff is now gone if you turn off destructible walls, like around this kind of turret thing, like gun thing here, like this is all gone, so that I suppose is good and probably makes things play slightly better. The problem is that like doors are still there and some of these windows are still there as well, so it's all kind of strange. This of course is Gavutu or whatever it's pronounced as, and this, like, you can still see some windows exist, but some of the things don't, well, they don't have walls there anymore, so I don't really know. It's probably better than it was. It's probably better it looks like this than it could before, unless there are some destructible walls. Like we did see some possibilities, and maybe some of these walls could be used for like a bomb spots and angles, and maybe it increases the skill gap, but maybe it doesn't, right? But still, some of these destructible windows are still there, so maybe they can find a way to disable that as well. Maybe some players will like the sound of that. This I thought was funny from FaZe, top 10 FPS players of all time, with the discussion that we had earlier today, and well, as Doug says, I won your first 2 championships for your team. You have me as the #1 COD player ever, and I cannot even get a follow back from FaZe. So hopefully they gave Doug Sense Martin the follow back, because that certainly does deserve it. But yes, this a lot of people were talking about yesterday from Scump, and really what's going on right now with the OpTic Dallas situation. Hey all, streamer's going to be a little late today, have a content shoot from 3 to 6 PM, so should be live around then. So well, this is what was going on with Scump, and then people will notice this, that kind of Dashy was on a flight going somewhere, and also people were saying this like ILLey and Shotzzy, they weren't live. So definitely some people were indicating this could be absolutely nothing, but some people suggesting that there's some sort of shoot that Scump's getting involved with. Dashy's on a plane, ILLey and Shotzzy are not necessarily streaming as much as they were before. Maybe they're they're flying somewhere to do some sort of content shoot in advance of the OpTic Dallas situation that we imagine is going to get announced relatively soon. But Scump does have an update really on exactly what is going on, because we saw that Envoy was made an unrestricted free agent a few weeks ago, and then of course has since joined the Los Angeles Thieves. But I'm pretty sure Octane was saying at the time that the reason why this offseason was going to be so crazy is because a load of these players are free agents after their 2-year contracts are up, and Scump is actually one of them, right? Like his 2-year contract on Huntsman into OpTic Chicago is up now, and therefore it's time to renegotiate. So he's technically a free agent right now. He explains that in his clip right here, but of course what it does mean is he's saying like he doesn't have a team, he's technically a free agent, and of course he's probably going to sign to OpTic Dallas, but what it does mean is that he hasn't signed yet. Things aren't quite set in stone as of yet, and probably still negotiating some great arrangements, and maybe we'll have to wait until Scump tweets out that contract side give or whatever on the timeline for us to confirm that this actually is going through.
You babe.
Do I like my new team? I don't have a team at the moment, bro. So I don't know what the f you're talking about. I'm a free agent. I'm as free as a bird, no Leonard Skinner.
In my life, and a little bit of Scumpy 2 eyes in my life.
So of course, speaking of Scump, the greatest SMG player in Call of Duty history, there has been a fair bit of talk from the likes of Clayster as we looked at, well, what he was discussing yesterday and the kind of issues that he had with the New York subliners last year, but also he's been talking about exactly, well, his situation in comparison to the whole Scump situation, right? So basically what he's saying in this clip I'm going to share for you guys in just a second is that, people were trying to paint him in a bad light and the way the narrative was being spun about him quitting the team, and how he was pretty disappointed with the way the narrative was going, and he talked to Asim about it and felt it was somewhat disrespectful what Asim had to say here on the flank, as you guys can see on screen. But he continues to say, look, a lot of this comes from the fan perspective, and it's the same reason why a lot of players will kind of discredit what Simp has achieved the last several years in Call of Duty, so that well, because Clayster thinks that Simp is kind of encroaching on Scump's status as one of the greatest, if not obviously the greatest SMG player of all time, right? And Simp is maybe getting to that point. Some people would say yes, some people would give good reasons why Simp's not necessarily getting discredited, but why aBeZy is a very important factor there. But Clayster is like, look, a lot of people saying that aBeZy is necessary for Simp to do well, just because it helps the argument of keeping Scump as the #1 SMG player in Call of Duty history.
While I was upset with the way that the narrative got spun, that narrative's gonna get spun anyway. Anytime, the 75% OpTic T2P fans can talk on me, they're going to on anything, and then just adding fuel to the fire with like aSimp saying that, it just opened the door for everybody to talk. And you know, it's same different year, bro. Same reason why, you know, everyone's saying aBeZy makes Simp, because Simp is encroaching on Scump's GOAT SMG territory, and all the OpTic fans and Scump fans can't let that happen. So now that's why you see all this stuff. Oh, does aBeZy make Simp great? Is Simp only good because of aBeZy? It's the same with me, bro. Like I'm like one of the only ones that's actually challenged that OpTic dynasty in terms of legacy, and they do anything to discredit. When it's 75% of the people talking are trying to do that, that's what you get, man. And so I don't really give a about what the public perception is or what fans say about me or what, like, why do I care, you know? Why do I care what anybody has to say about me? Like, I'm a 3-time world champion. Like, I've been doing this for 10 years. Like, what can anyone say on the internet that makes me, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, who do I have something to prove to right now? Like, what else do I have to prove?
So definitely a very interesting take from Clayster. I think there's a couple of perspectives here. Like, I think from one side, like, Clayster maybe has a point, right? We can see some of the statistics here from Simp the last season have been absolutely ridiculous. Definitely at the top performer the last couple of years. I mean, these stats are just out of control. Of course, stats don't tell the entire story, but they tell a fair bit of the story with a guy like Simp. And this is like it's just absolutely ridiculous what he's been doing. I mean, 88 was his worst performance in Stage 2, where he somehow, like, fell off massively in Search and Destroy. Then in Stage 1, he had a 1.65, so you can't really take too much away from that. A 99 overall Stage 1, above the 90s consistently apart from Stage 2 the entire season long. And a lot of people would look at this and say, wow, like, this guy's absolutely ridiculous. Like, yeah, I mean, he won 3 events this season, Stage 1, Stage 3, Stage 4, and then the World Championship, of course, being 4 events, won the MVP of the entire season. Like, you can't really take too much away. He's been ridiculous. His control stats are absolutely absurd, especially for an SMG player. But of course, aBeZy's not too far behind him, right? You see right here, definitely the best SMG duo in the game. There's no doubt about that one. But yeah, I mean, aBeZy, like, Stage 1, Stage 3, Stage 4 as well, where they won. Like, just ridiculous numbers in terms of engagements, in terms of damage. And it is quite interesting, right? A lot of people were saying, and not just as close as saying, kind of OpTic fans maybe saying that aBeZy is actually the best player. I think we saw recently kind of people were ranking their top 30 players in the world, and Simp was still that number 1, but aBeZy was kind of right there as number 2. And a lot of people would say this season there was a big discussion point really about, is aBeZy better than Simp, right? Which you can certainly argue. They both play different roles. Simp is gonna put up better numbers because he's kind of that second SMG in, but at the same time, Simp does it all. Like, he has incredible awareness, great communication, and knows how to win as well. So he's not exactly a bad player, but still aBeZy also phenomenal. It's tough to call between the two of them, and even for pros it was tough to call between the two of them, right? It's not like necessarily, as Clayster is suggesting, that maybe like all the OpTic fans are saying, yeah, aBeZy's better, just to kind of discredit Simp and what he's achieved, because ever since Simp's come into the scene, he's I mean, his average placing is like a 1.7 or something stupid since he's come into the scene. Maybe not quite that high, but like pretty much every world championship he's been to, he's been in the grand finals, right? Black Ops 4, and then the last couple of years as well. Like, so he's won 2 of them and he's lost 1 of them. Yeah, so his grand finals average is like a 1.3. His overall average is probably slightly lower than that, but it's still not too far below like an average placing of 2 or something along those lines for Simp. So just ridiculous what he's achieved since he's come into Call of Duty in 2019, and already some people are suggesting he's encroaching on that kind of greatest SMG player of all time territory. I think Scump has probably got a fair bit to go to take down Scump, just because of the longevity that Scump has had, also what he's given to Call of Duty as well, but still, some people are raising that question mark. But of course, Simp won the regular season MVP, but it's not just that, you know, like, you know, these OpTic fans, as Clayster is saying that aBeZy was actually better to kind of discredit Simp in this sense, but it's also some pros were saying this as well. Like, we saw it from Octane. Tyler aBeZy didn't win MVP, saying that, like, yeah, he thinks aBeZy was better. Joey Nubsy, I'm sure, pretty sure said it on stream as well, that he thinks aBeZy, yeah, should have won that MVP over Simp, and he was more valuable to FaZe and to the league in general than Simp was, right? And maybe thinks he's a better player, which is also a fair perspective. So it's definitely tough to call between the two of them. But I mean, yeah, as you can see right here, this is from Doug Centimate. This I thought was certainly a pretty hot take from last week, but as you can see, I'm pretty sure this is meant to be in order. Crimsix, Scump, Simp, right? So he's got Simp as the number 3 player of all time in Call of Duty history already, right behind Scump. I think there's a fair bit to go for Simp to overhaul Scump. I think that these last couple of years, if they had been all on LAN, and if they had been, if the tournaments nowadays were as hard to win as they were back in the day, then Simp might be closer than he is. But right now, I think it's going to take a couple of more years of Simp dominance to overhaul Scump in terms of the best SMG player of all time, but Clayster's not wrong in the sense that, like, he's knocking on the door and he's giving it a go. His performances speak for themselves, his achievements speak for themselves. He's already a two-time world champion, right, and Scump only has 1 ring, despite the longevity of his career, so there's a lot to say on this. Maybe Clayster has a point to some degree, but, you know, some pros also would agree that maybe Simp does get enabled by aBeZy to some degree, and without aBeZy, Simp wouldn't be so good. I'm not necessarily so sure, but still, pretty much the Simp's entire career, he's been playing alongside aBeZy, and probably will to the end of his career at this rate, especially the way these guys are chugging along. This I thought was pretty incredible from Lyman, which I just wish, like, the CDL or someone would actually do something like this in our league, but as Lyman says right here, I got to work on this for Rainbow Six with Chiefs, pretty sure an Australian New Zealand team. They've been in Call of Duty in the past as well, I'm pretty sure, maybe they still are, but they're clearly in Rainbow Six, and this I thought was incredible, that Lyman designed, I'm pretty sure, the entirety of this camo, at least, like, helped on the design of it, and it's now in the game itself, like, you know, the weapon skin is now live in the game. I wish they'd do stuff like this, right? Like, of course, they do have weapon camos, but, you know, they should talk to Lyman and be like, look, sort us out with a nice camo for these teams. He's done some crazy good, kind of mock-up prototypes in the last couple of seasons. I remember Black Ops 4 especially, he made, like, Maddoxes and, like, all for the different teams, but also, like, different players could have, like, their names on them and stuff. It was so good, and kind of like how this is with Chiefs. But Rainbow Six are chugging along, and so we're sitting here in Call of Duty with nothing like this. It's, of course we do have them, but they're not as pretty as they could be, right? Last season Cold War, like, there was a lot of talk about the camos not being so good, and, you know, just get Lyman on the case, right? It'd be really cool to see him doing this stuff with Rainbow Six, so maybe it'll kickstart something with the Call of Duty League for them to think, okay, maybe we should upgrade the camos that we've got right here for some of our professional teams. And just to say this in Parasite before we finish off the videos, Desi says, Vanguard feels so nice, I love the grind already. Fact is fun, but customs are going to be 12 hertz again, lol. This is kind of the concern right now from a lot of the pro players, and I'm pretty sure, like, Steve even said in the reply, you're going to have fun with that one. I'm off in the Pro League where we actually have the proper 60 hertz servers to practice on, we believe, but yeah, customs, who really knows what they're going to do, but we're pretty sure that the regular gameplay is played on, like, 60 hertz right now, but yeah, custom games, as they have been for quite a while, maybe down here with the, you know, the difficult server situations that we've seen for these last several years. With any luck, that won't be the case, but I don't blame Parasite for thinking it may well be. But very much intrigued to your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, I'd greatly appreciate a like on the video. Really upset the YouTube algorithm know who enjoyed this content. Other people like you may enjoy this content as well, and I've grown the competitive Call of Duty community. Thank you for watching as always, take care, and I will see you next time.